Hello and welcome to the Sunday Shale Show. My name is Mike Chadzi and today I'm joined by Congressman Ed Whitfield from Kentucky. Sir, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm great, Mike. I'm delighted to be here in Ohio.
Well, thank you. Give me a quick synopsis of maybe a little bit of history with you in politics and kind of how you got to be where you are today.
Well, before I was elected to Congress, I was in the railroad industry with CSX Corporation, which certainly has a presence in Ohio.
Sure.
And since I've been in Congress, the area that I really sort of specialize in relates to energy issues. And I'm the chairman of the Energy and Power Committee and the Energy and Commerce Committee. And it's an area that I think is vitally important for our economic growth in America. And we face some crucial decisions as we move forward in the area of energy.
Oh, absolutely. We see that a lot here in Ohio. The big topic here in Ohio now is shale development. Any comments on what you're seeing here in Ohio and some other places around the country?
Well, we're so fortunate in America today to have these big shale finds.
Absolutely.
That really are going to revolutionize our ability to create jobs in America because of low energy costs. And Ohio is right in the center of it, the Utica Field and others. And we have a unique opportunity, but the only problem is, or the question is, whether or not the current administration in Washington is going to have a regulatory scheme that is going to allow the free market to grow this industry and to create jobs and to bring in new manufacturing because of low energy costs.
We just want to be left alone to do what we do.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people in Washington who do not want us to be left alone. And you know, America has been successful throughout its history, primarily because of individuals committing their capital to find a good product, create jobs, and that's been the key to economic growth in America.
Absolutely. So is there anything now in Congress, or maybe something that's coming that would have an impact on the oil and gas industry, not only in Ohio, but in the country?
Well, as you know, this administration has made it impossible to build a new coal plant in America. And some of their supporters for that movement, actually the Sierra Club has done some good things in our country. But when the president of the Sierra Club and others in Washington say, we eventually do not want any fossil fuel, that means coal, that means natural gas.
Absolutely.
Then I tell you what, America cannot prosper and meet its electricity demand in the future without fossil fuels. We want all the above energy policy. The president says he wants all the above energy policy, but he has shown quite clearly that he does not want coal, and he's really a little bit questionable about the long-term viability of natural gas.
So the actions speak louder than words. He says all the right things, but what he does and his team does is not exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. He says one thing and they do another.
I agree. So talk to me about Keystone XL. Where are we getting it? What's happening?
Well, I don't think that the president's going to approve Keystone, as you know, because it goes across the border from Canada. The president has to approve it. And unfortunately, fortunately, the Secretary of State, when it was Hillary Clinton, made a recommendation that they go on and approve it. And he said he didn't want to decide until after the next election, which is now come and gone. And we've had hearings, we've asked him to make a decision. It's important that he do so, but he's still dragging his feet. The environmental impact statements by the Secretary of State has indicated that there's no significant problem. There are more safety guards with this proposed pipeline than any in history. Absolutely. And there's not one dime of taxpayer money in this project. Yep. And it would create all sorts of jobs in the construction process and would help us lower our gasoline prices in the long term and make us more energy independent.
It really would. I mean, the direct jobs, the indirect jobs, the induced jobs, just the amount of activity that would come from a project like that would be just phenomenal.
Well, it is, and it's unbelievable that after he refused to approve the Keystone, he flew to Cushing, Oklahoma, and said that he wants to build this pipeline between Cushing and Port Arthur, the southern part of that pipeline. Even though he has nothing to do with it, he could not have stopped it if he wanted to, and yet he made a press conference out of that, but not allowing Keystone to be built.
How about that? Now, on the regulation side, what kind of role do you see the federal government having? A lot of our rules obviously are down here at the state level, particularly here in Ohio. But is there a role for federal government with coal development, oil and gas development, or is there a role to play there?
Well, obviously, there are regulations that the federal government have in place relating to all energy development, as there should be. But the question becomes, when does it become onerous, and when does it become an obstacle to economic growth and to continue to develop these fields? I had a friend who attended the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, recently, and he was talking about how in Europe, they're panicking in Europe because they recognize that with these additional finds, shale finds, oil and gas in America, that we really can become the #1 producers of natural gas and oil.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see manufacturing companies from all over the world looking at America, only because of low energy costs. And we have to be sure that we develop these fields and that we can ensure low energy costs to be competitive. And it is an ongoing, everyday struggle with this administration.
I agree, absolutely. Well, Congressman, thank you for your time, your leadership, your dedication to these issues. I really appreciate it.
Well, Mike, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And for more information, visit us at eidohio.org. Thank you.